Welcome to the TPT Podcast Sports Betting Show, where hosts Dustin and Grizzy put their money on the table for this week's best bets.
Back to Best Bets. We are the sideshow to the TPT Podcast. I am joined with my co-host, Grizzy.
Grizzy, I in a bit of a slump this week. I only went 1-6, but I'm hoping you guys are still gonna rock with me and roll with me. My name, you can find me on TikTok, Grizzy Shoe. Find me on Instagram, Nicholas New 34. And yeah, I hope you guys are gonna roll with me.
All right, so we are going to put a graphic on screen of how we both went this last week. I went 3-3. I'm pretty sure I went out on top. What was your record, Nick?
Like I just said, you idiot. I just said I know you're a Vikings fan. I'm a Vikings fan. I know we're a little stupid sometimes, but I just said I went 1-6, and I don't really want to talk about it. Let's go. Come on. Let's go. Come on.
Oh, I just wanted to remind you a little bit because you lost that last week. So
Yeah.
All right.
I understand. Now let's go. Come on.
All right, since he doesn't want to talk about it that much, we're going to get straight into the picks. My first pick, we are going with the San Francisco 49ers versus the Jacksonville Jaguars in Jacksonville. We're going to go with the quarterback, Trevor Lawrence. I think he's going to throw at least one pick in this game. It's just bound to happen against that 49ers defense. It's just too good to be true for Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, they have a better record than the 49ers going into this game, but I think that's just how it's going to be.
Listen, but that's the same 49ers defense that couldn't stop a Justin Jefferson-less Vikings. So I don't know, man. I know the Jaguars are pretty legit this year, but yeah, who really cares about what you got to say? I'm taking Sam Howell, the man out of Washington. What do they say? They say Hell Howell, number 14, baby. Give me that. Give me 259 passing yards or more. He has hit that with ease in his last two games. One of those games being against the Philadelphia Eagles, who the Kansas City Chiefs just beat in last year's Super Bowl. Yeah, let me talk to you. But also, not just Sam Howell, give me the Washington losing this game to the Seattle Seahawks and Seattle covering the -6 spread. Seattle, I know they just lost. They got blown out by the Ravens, but this Seahawks team is still not to be slept on. I'm going to pass it back to Dustin for his second pick. Dustin?
I'm receiving the touchdown on this one because my picks, we're going to go 5-0 this week. No more 3-3. Yeah, we won last week, but we're going to go 5-0 this week. We're going to go back to the other side on the 49ers, go with their quarterback in Brock Purdy, and we're going to say he's going to have lower than 30.5 passing attempts. I don't think that they're going to be passing the ball much that game. I think it's going to be a Christian McCaffrey show. It's just not bound to be a good passing game against that Jacksonville Jaguars defense. Brock Purdy's going to be looking like Grizzy this next week. Just not very good.
Let's be real, Dustin. The 49ers could put me in at quarterback, and I'd still throw for 400 passing yards. You give me Debo, CMC, George Kittle, I'm going for 400 passing yards. But speaking of the Ravens, I was just speaking about them when they played Seattle last week. Give me Gus Edwards to score at least one touchdown rushing or receiving. All of us fantasy players know Gus Edwards has been a monster the past 3 weeks, scoring at least a touchdown in all three of those games. And I think he's got to hit this with ease. He could hit this in the first quarter. Get down to the goal line. You gotta know a Gus Edwards touchdown is coming. But also Ravens, they're playing against the Cleveland Browns, their rivals. But I still think the Ravens will pull this one out. I think the Ravens are legit, and I think they will cover the -6 spread. Now, let's get to Lustin with his third pick.
Lustin with the W, because we're going 2-0 this week. Ready? So, Alvin Kamara. Last time he played the Minnesota Vikings, they played the Saints last year, or the Vikings played the Saints last year in London. Kamara did not play. I believe he was either suspended or hurt, one of the two. Doesn't matter. But the last time they played, Kamara had 6 freaking touchdowns against the Vikings. That was a god-awful Christmas. I would rather have the Grinch stole Christmas than freaking Alvin Kamara. But I don't think he's going to have as good of a game as he did in 2020. I think he's going to have lower than 51.5 rushing yards against this Vikings defense. The Vikings, I think they have a top 10 rushing defense, which is a lot better than the previous years because we would let freaking anybody, even Grizzy, walk through that defensive line and score a 99-yard touchdown.
You guys know I'm more of an offensive lineman myself, but like I said, If Daniel Jones is doing what he did last year to the Vikings, I think I could have done the same thing. But I'm going to take it to the Bay Area as Mr. Lustin over here with an L, no W. W, stay over here. I'm taking Christian McCaffrey over 66.5 rushing yards. Do I really need to say anything? It's Christian McCaffrey, best utility back in the game. He's a wide receiver. He's a running back. He's a quarterback. Man, put him out. I bet you could play cornerback. And he's coming off a bye week. I think they got Trent Williams coming back. And, I know the 49ers have been in a slump, but they're going to prove it this week against a great Jacksonville team, a great Jacksonville defense. And I think they cover the -3 spread. And this is really just a make or break week for the 49ers if they are Super Bowl contenders or if they're just first round exits.
Right. Speaking of, if someone's a running back or a quarterback or whatever he is, Lamar Jackson, he's being more of a quarterback this year than a running back. But being part of a quarterback means that you got to throw the ball, and then throwing the ball against the Cleveland defense, they're top 5 unit this year. I think Lamar throws at least one pick against that defense. It's just not going to be a very good day with Lamar Jackson. His weapons for wide receivers aren't necessarily the best in the league. They're also not the worst. I think it's kind of pedestrian, but yeah, I have him throwing at least one interception, maybe ending the game with 3.
I gotta say that Lamar Jackson has been playing like an MVP. I can't say anything bad about that man. But me personally, I'm gonna take a team that got blown out by the Ravens this year. Sam Laporta's team, the Detroit Lions, over 4.5 receptions. As some of you may know, I'm a huge fan of Sam Laporta, especially after he won me $260 scoring a touchdown against the Las Vegas Raiders. But he is a huge part of this Lions offense. They got to feed this man. Little fantasy tip: the Chargers are currently giving up the 7th most fantasy points, to the tight end position. I think Laporta eats, and the Lions sadly cover the spread and win this game, 2.5. But the Vikings are coming for that division crown. Setting it to Dustin.
I actually agree with you on is that the Vikings will win the division. Maybe, maybe not. But with the last pick until we get to our locks, we're going with the Vikings. We're going on the defensive side. The only time that I've been, very optimistic about the Vikings defense, pretty much in the past 5 years, we're going with Danielle Hunter. He has not been in any Defensive Player of the Year talks at all, with leading the league in 10 sacks. Like I don't know, he's either died or just not good, or I don't know, because none of that is true, obviously. But I think he'll at least have 1 sack against Derek Carr. I don't have the stats in front of me, but I don't think the New Orleans Saints offensive line is that good. I can name like 1 player on that offensive line. But yeah, I think he's going to have at least 1 sack, maybe 2.
Listen, if there's someone that knows a lot about sacks, it's you. But going back to Seattle, I got Kenneth Walker, my fantasy running back. You can even ask Jaden about my fantasy running back. I'm 7-2 in Jaden's league, coming for that $260 prize and a free jersey. Make sure you guys check out Jaden's jerseys to get your jerseys today. Use code GRIZZY for free shipping. Not for 96% off, just free shipping. But Kenneth Walker, he's going to go over 64.5 rushing yards. Washington does not have Montez Sweat. They do not have Chase Young. It's just going to be the Seattle offense is just going to make a gaping hole just for Kenneth Walker just to go right through. Walker will hit this. I put some money on that. I actually did put money on all my bets today. But I think Kenneth Walker should hit this. Kenneth Walker is a dog. But let's see what this loser over here has got to say for his lock of the week.
All right, before we get to our locks of the week, I do want to mention that this video is somewhat sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. If you guys do sign up using the code ThatVikingsFan or TVP, you guys will match your first deposit up to $500. No matter how much you put in, whatever you win, you'll get up to $500 back. So with that said, we are going to our locks of the week. We're going back to the 49ers. We're going back to Brock Purdy. And I think he's going to have higher than 8.5 rushing yards. Now, let me tell you why. His rushing attack for this season, he's kind of averaged a little over 10 yards per game. And I think that with his low passing attempt game that I predicted before, I think he's going to be running around a little bit. That Jaguars defensive line is pretty good. I think they'll have him running for his life. If it's not Christian McCaffrey running the ball, I think it's going to be Brock Purdy.
But do you really want to take a lock of the week from someone who looks like this? Like, look at this ugly mutt right here. Now let's get to my lock of the week, the one that actually matters, the one that's actually going to win you a little bit of this, a little bit of that moolah, that money, that cheddar, that salt and pepper. Yeah, let me talk to you. Give me Bijan Robinson from the Atlanta Falcons over 80.5 rushing and receiving yards. Falcons got to get Bijan going, and there's no better week to do it than against the Arizona Cardinals, who suck. No ifs, ands, ifs, or but about it. Thank you for Joshua Dobbs. And I also got the Falcons covering this 1.5 spread.
So yeah, I know Grizzy had a picture of me, but I didn't know you were modeling for Calvin Klein either. So
disclaimer: that is not me. That is not me.
Guys, it is him. Don't worry. All right. With that said, I think we have gone through all of our best bets and our locks of the week. So if you guys did enjoy, make sure you guys drop a like and comment below who you guys agree with or disagree with. If you guys agree with any of our picks, you can mix and match our bets with Underdog. Make up to 5-leg parlay. Put in $1, put in $10, put in $100. However confident you feel. You can even insure it if you feel like you're going to miss a pick. Definitely with one of Grizzy's. But make sure you guys use code ThatVikingsFan when you sign up for Underdog Fantasy. And we'll see you guys in the next episode.